Welcome to another episode of Ask Cindy Connector Live. Happy Aloha Friday. Happy Pay It Forward Friday. This is Cindy Lee, your host over at Ask Cindy Connector Live. Make sure that you subscribe on YouTube. Also follow me on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. If you would like to comment today, please go to streamyard.com/Facebook so we can see your name and both platforms connect. So our promo for today, go to Ask Cindy Connector Live on YouTube. You're going to subscribe. You're going to comment here on this video. And if you share this very video to LinkedIn or Facebook, I'll gift you a 5-night hotel stay. For more information, go to 3nightgiveaway.com. And I'm an ambassador with National Day Calendar. Make sure you go to nationaldaycalendar.com. If you'd like to see the interview of the founder of National Day Calendar, you could go to my travel show at Ask Cindy Connector Live or Bucket List Coach web show. And so today is National French Dip Day. I want to say that my very favorite French dip is Felipe's French Dip right in downtown LA, and also Bronx here in Orange County. So next week I'm on hiatus. I'm actually speaking at the Leverage Conference. Just check out surfcityalohamarketing.com for more information. So today I have my friend Sheri Smith, sales trainer, personal and corporate sales trainer, and you definitely need to stay on today and connect with her after the show. Welcome, Sherie, to the show.
Great. Thank you so much, Cindy. So excited to be here and with your audience today.
Thank you. So tell us your story, your little backstory.
Sure. So I, like so many, started in corporate America, and I was a sales trainer and coach on a national basis for our sales team here in the U.S. and loved it. I loved what I did, everything from onboarding new clients to I had been inside and outside salesperson, so I had that perspective of what needed to be done and what would benefit. One of those people that I don't mind being on stage in front of everyone. So I did that on a national platform for 17 years. Just Reader's Digest, we adopted a little girl and she had a lot of special needs. So I had to resign from that. Went back to school, got a degree in nutrition, and did that for a long time. But with the pandemic, one thing that I always like to say is that every good coach has a coach. So I went back and I connected with a coach for myself and just remembered how much I loved it. And again, how many of us have had to do something different because of the pandemic? I went back to kind of where it all began and started my corporate coaching and personal coaching business for sales.
That's amazing. So today we're going to talk about the steps of the sales process. So what is step one?
Sure. So there's 9 steps that we talk about in lead generation, appointment setting, building trust and rapport, identifying the customer needs, sharing the benefit, and on up through sales mountain. And what I'd like to focus on today is really building that trust and rapport, identifying the customer needs, and sharing the benefits. So it's kind of like, I set the appointment, now what? Now what do I do? Sometimes the difficult part is the lead generation, the appointment setting, but really the difficult part is, what do I say? What do I do? And so we work on trust and rapport, and that's doing your pre-call planning, getting to know as much as you can about the client, but having those probing questions as well, and identifying their needs so that when you go to share the benefits, how many of us have heard, don't vomit all over the client everything that you know. So what happens if we don't identify the customer needs and we just start sharing the benefits, we may share something that we're passionate about, but has nothing to do with what they want. And then we have to reverse and go back the other way. Well, we might have lost the client by that time. So building the trust and rapport, identifying needs, and we do that through an interview, through the probing questions, asking the client, what is your biggest sales challenge? How long has that been a challenge for you? What would it look like if you could solve that challenge? So empowering the client. And then we know, once we've identified those specifically, how we want to present our benefits of our product, our program, or our service, whichever one of those is applicable to your particular business, the likelihood that you're going to close that deal because you've made it very specific is much higher. Another piece that's really important in sharing the benefits is, we all know probably 4 or 5 of the top objections that our client or our prospect have, right? Mm-hmm. So we, in part of our scripting, setting that intention of what we're going to do on that call is very powerful. And we script that in. We answer those and address those questions in the presentation so that when we get to the close, there's less objections to handle. Would you like an example of what I'm talking about?
Exactly, I would.
Sure. So to go back to, what is your biggest sales challenge? What would it mean if you could resolve that? How long has it been a challenge? A client might say to you, well, it would increase my sales by $10,000 a month if I could resolve this issue. So you hold on to that thought in your mind of it would solve 10,000 or increase sales by 10,000. That's 120,000. So as you're going through the presentation and you're presenting, and at the end you go in for the close and you make your irresistible offer that you're going to do. And what's the objection going to be? Oh, I can't afford that. That's not in my budget. Well, Cindy, let me take you back to, remember your issue was that you needed to increase your sales team knowledge, and that by doing that and by putting some training together for your sales team, you expected to increase sales by 10,000 just this year. So if our program is $5,000 and you're going to increase sales by $120,000, right? I think that math's pretty good, to invest $5,000 to create $120,000, and that's just this year. That's not saying how you're going to grow it. So that's an example of asking those probing questions, keeping those thoughts in mind. When they come to the objection, you bring them back to that pain point that they had, what their issue was, what your solution was, and what you're going to continue to do for them.
Wow. So what do you think is the biggest challenge for a small business? You think it's the time, the money? What do you think is the biggest?
So I think oftentimes the biggest problem for small businesses, depending on if it's a 1 or 2, 3 person company, is wearing so many hats and really identifying those revenue producing activities, right? So as a business owner, you might think, well, I need to be on this network and I need to attend this event, and I should have a podcast and I should have a newsletter and I should do all of these things. And really, I work with my clients on, let's start one aspect of it, get really good at it, make it a habit, maybe put some automation in place for some of these activities, and then move to the next one. I find a lot of business owners, or those even, financial planners, real estate agents, insurance agents that may work for a company, but essentially they're in business for themselves. They're spread way too thin and they're not effective in any particular area. And so we work on those revenue producing ideas, and then we work on our activities, and then we work on one or two things at a time, get those really automated and perfected, and then move on to the next task. And that we have found is most effective.
Yeah, automation is definitely key. And that I am with this company that actually automates all my gratitude gifts, throughout the year. But the important part is I had to remind myself to put people in for the certain, let's say for the month of November or December,
Right.
or just set it up for the whole year. Because if I forget, like last month, I forgot, I think around like 30 birthdays. So I just did a happy birthday month.
Yes. And that's a really great point, Cindy, is sometimes we'll look at, oh my gosh, if I put all these people in my CRM, or if I put all these people in this or that, that's going to take me so long. But if you look at it from a different perspective, I would challenge that mindset, because mindsets are flexible, not fixed. So challenge your mindset to say, if I spend 1 hour putting this in, it's automated for the year and I don't have to think about it. What is that worth to me? Thousands of dollars.
Exactly. So let's talk about Coachwares.
Oh, sure. So Coachwares is a platform, and I have a store, if you will, on Coachwares. It is a platform that's going to be, or is, similar to like the Netflix or Amazon, where you can go into Coachwares and you can find multiple different coaches for yourself. But also, as a coach, you can have a store on there, and it's not limited. If you've had courses in other platforms, there's dollar amount, there's different things and limitations, and Coachwares doesn't have those limitations. You can have a store that you can sell your book, you can sell a membership, you can sell a course, you can do a consultation. And we really recommend that you start with either a consultation or an interview to get to know someone. So you put, a piece of content out there. We have a whole program that we teach you how to use Coachwares, how to market it. And we also do a lot of the marketing for Coachwares as well. What I really love about it is I have a store and there's 50 other people. So as I promote my store, 49 other people are promoting their store. How many times do you go to Amazon and you just look for one thing? No, you usually shop around. And it's the same thing that we find in Coachwares. We track where everybody goes. So we have all those statistics as well. So it's coachwares.com, or you can contact me and we can talk about it. If you have a program, a course, a book, and it's just another place to house it.
I'm going to take a look at that right now. I'm going to open that up really quickly.
Yeah.
So this is, this is good for my podcast mastery then.
Yes, you could put that on there. You could put courses on there. If you've written articles or something, you can put that in there. And again, it is for the consultations, the memberships, digital courses, and there's a little bit of everything in there. There's multiple different.
Dr. Renee's in there.
Dr. Renee is in there. James Feldman is in there. Jim Conley, Henry Clout. We have multiple different people that you would probably know that are in there as well.
That's really cool. So how would I add my mastery to that? And how does that work?
So you would set up your store, and then there's different places where you put the different types of content that are in there. And then we also have a way to feed those leads back to your database, so you have access to them as well.
Wow, that is really cool.
Yes.
So what is the best referral for you?
best referral for me right now, because we have our 2022 planning class, is someone who, and it's a free course, something that we do annually every year. So the best lead for me is an individual, whether they're new to sales, in the middle of the pack, or even have hit the top 10%, but they're looking just to move the needle 1 to 2 levels in their business. It's to get them enrolled in our 2022 planning class and have a 30-minute consultation with them as well.
Oh, cool. So one of the things I wanted, and I talk about it in my book as well, is the difference between a lead and referral. Because, you know, I have a management company where I manage people's socials, and I show them all these different tools for the business. And then I also have a travel agency.
Yes.
So people will say, hey, Cindy, I sent somebody to your marketing company, or I sent somebody to your travel business. I gave you a referral. Like, you did? I said, I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get a text. I didn't get an email. I didn't get a
Right.
Facebook message. Well, oh yeah, I sent you the referral. So for a proper referral, you actually need to take the time to connect both parties with
Right.
their phone number, their email, what the actual referral is about, explaining what each person does, and then that is the referral. But if you just send somebody's website, that is a lead,
Right.
that's going to be 100% closed. Most of the time, you're not going to really close on that because you only have, or if you just give one person's phone number and not the other person's phone number. How do you feel about that?
So I do think definitely having a warm referral is much more powerful. It gives validity to both parties. So if you send me a referral, I will know that it's somebody that you know, like, and trust. And the same thing is reciprocated, that the person that you're referring to me, they know that I am somebody that you know, like, and trust as well. And it's much more powerful that way.
And I have what's called 2 separate types of referrals. I have what's called the referral connection. So that is somebody that I want to connect you to, someone that's in my sphere of influence. They're connected, never know where the relationship's going to go. And then I have what's called the straight referral. That is somebody who's looking for coaching. They're looking for a plumber, a electrician. They're looking for that actual type of referral. And so if someone posts on Facebook, I need an electrician, I need a plumber, and I'll say, well, can you tell me exactly what the extent of the referral is? Like, what kind of plumbing situation, what kind of electrical situation? So when I'm connecting in the email, I can actually explain such and such is looking for this. This is the issue that they're having with their plumbing, blah, blah, blah. So you want to be more explicit of the referral if you're doing a direct referral.
Right. Yeah. So a direct referral for me is someone who is ready to invest in themselves, realizes the importance of investing in themselves to increase their sales techniques and knowledge, working through sales mountains, someone who's ready to work on some scripts and putting those scripts together is a great referral.
Oh, good. Yeah. So I'm going to get that from you later. And that way, when I'm introducing you to people, I'll copy paste in that. So I'll say, who do you know? This is a great connection. I've known her for a couple of years. I've known you for a couple of years. I think you guys are great referral partners to connect. Because even if it's not going to be closed business, people know people. The average person knows at least 200 to 300 people. So we never know who they're going to be connected to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So recap, let's go over what we talked about today.
So going over, even in the sales mountain, even there's 9 steps. The 3 key steps that I find a lot of clients struggle with is building the trust and rapport, identifying the customer needs, and then sharing the benefits. And that goes through in social media. That's a whole nother topic that we didn't get into fully today. But going in social media as well, building trust and rapport is really powerful. And we work through that in our scripting and the programs that we put together. I found that to be very helpful and powerful as well in having those, because we all know if you're an insurance agent, the way you present to a single individual is different than the way you present to maybe a family of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So building that trust and rapport, finding the commonality, identifying their needs by asking those probing questions, being more of a listener, and then you can go in to share the benefits. And the power of doing that is that you're presenting to the client's pain points that they've expressed to you. This has just been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate this opportunity. Working with you has just been a blast over the past few years, and the connections that we've created. It's just been a blessing. Thank you, Cindy.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to put you in the green room and just wait for 1 minute while I close out. Well, make sure that you connect with Sheri Smith. Her LinkedIn page is here. Also, her 2 pages on Facebook. And if you know anybody who is looking for that ultimate business gift for their business bucket list, definitely you need to check out Sheri Smith. Absolutely a person you need to have in your sphere of influence. Next on the show, I have my friend Jonathan, and he's with the Positive Pin. We'll see you at 3 o'clock. Shaka, baby.